on behalf of ICICI Securities, we welcome you all to the Q4 FY21 results conference call of Kansai Nerolac. We are pleased to introduce senior management of the company, Mr. H.M. Bharuka, Vice Chairman and Managing Director, Mr. Anuj Jain, Executive Director, Mr. Prashant Pai, Director Finance, and Mr. Jason Gonsalves, Director Corporate Planning, IT and Materials. In spite of multiple challenges of COVID, national lockdown in Q1 FY21, localized lockdowns in the rest of FY21, and sharp increase in crude oil prices in H2 FY21, Kansai Nerolac has continued to report strong improvement in revenues. It has been able to report healthy performance in decorative paints, and its performance in automotive paints has improved with recovery in auto sector. It has also done well in new business segments such as putty, adhesives and waterproofing. Without taking much time, I hand over the call to Mr. H.M. Bharuka for his initial comments on the results, and then we shall open the floor for interactive Q&A session. Thanks, and over to you, sir, Mr. Bharuka.
Good morning, friends. Thanks for joining Nerolac Q4 and Y21 earnings conference. I hope and wish you and your loved ones are safe. I hope you have gone through the presentation which we have put it on the website. It is more of a strategic presentation than financials. Let me briefly take you through this few slides. All of you are aware the business environment of 2020 and 21, starting with the full lockdown in the first quarter. Without going into the detail, obviously, initially what was important was to ensure that we preserve the cash, we are able to collect the money, and ensure that safety of the plants and employees are paramount important. And that is where a lot of attentions were given. There were a lot of force measures which actually affected our supply chain. However, much better than what we had thought, the demand gradually recovered and faster for decorative than for industrial. Given this scenario, if you look at our performance, we believe we have done well. While we have not gained market share in decorative, we have gained market share in industrial across, whether it is auto, powder, or general industrial or auto refinish. We have been able to connect with all our stakeholders during this pandemic crisis, and a lot of efforts on cost reduction and focus on cash collection resulted in cost reduction and improvement in cash. Obviously, initially it was very difficult to connect with the market, especially dealer and the influencers. So we launched the digital, focused on the digital connect, and there were a lot of applications which were launched. For example, the Sati application, which helps today dealer to place order directly on their mobile to the company. They can call it or they can type it. So even salesmen without visiting, they can make an order. They can also view their statement and whatever information they need. So even if salesman is not available, dealer is able to call to the company or put the order. We also introduced the application for our salesmen, which guides salesmen which shops to visit, where perhaps growth is there or where growth has not happened. So in this scenario, it has helped our salesmen to improve the productivity, because it gives you the heat map and geotagging. We also launched the application for influencer, through which we are able to connect all painter through digital mode. Of course, you are aware digital invoicing and vendor invoicing management now perhaps is more or less digital and compulsory. So the Nerolac is fully now digitalized as far as billing is concerned, or billing from vendors are concerned. If we look at our subsidiaries, first domestic subsidiaries, Perma, Nerofix and Marpal, all of them have done well, and we have been able to improve our EBITDA margin. On international subsidiaries also, all three subsidiaries, Nepal, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, did very well. Bangladesh, despite all the problem of first 6 months, overall for the entire year, they have been able to have a top line growth of 15%. And EBITDA, when we took over, was negative, has improved to 6.1% just in 2 years. Nepal also, we have been able to improve our EBITDA from 16 to 18%, even though top line was negative, because you are aware, Nepal was almost virtually fully shut for 3 quarters. Sri Lanka, where we are having a problem where the EBITDA losses are more, fortunately there as well. Despite all these issues, we have been able to grow top line by 20% for the entire year and were able to reduce our EBITDA losses. So if you look at entire financial result on a standalone basis, for the quarter, our growth is approximately 35%, EBITDA growth is 59%, and net profit has grown by 79%. However, for the entire year, the net revenue is still negative by 5% and EBITDA is positive by 6.6%. PAT is marginally positive if we exclude the write down which we have done for the Sri Lanka business. But on a consolidated basis, if you see, our numbers are better even than the standalone number, more or less similar, but PAT has improved by 89%, which indicates that performance of subsidiaries have done well. Even on cash front, both operating cash flow as well as free cash flow, we have improved. Operating cash flow has gone up by 400 crores and free cash flow has improved by 542 crores. Our cash position, excluding the investment in the subsidiaries, is 740 crores. Given this background, the board decided to increase the dividend, normal dividend, which is about 33% payout of 315, against 315 of last year, 325, and 200% as we can say centenary dividend, which has been declared as a special dividend. With this, total payout is working out to be about 47 to 48%. Coming on this current year, 21-22, though we started year on very optimism note, unfortunately, COVID wave 2 has hit us, and we do not know how long it is going to last, how it is going to affect us. On top of this, last year when the COVID wave was there, at least raw material prices were benign. However, now the raw material prices actually are at the top of the roof, and everyone is aware that commodity prices are highest and there is a lot of supply tightness as well. Given this scenario, our business focus is on improving the market share in decorative, automotive, and across the divisions. And maybe my team will cover later on that we are entering few new segments which were not there earlier, like adhesive or construction chemical. Partly that is one of the reasons why our overall top line in decorative looks lower compared to the competition. It is purely because we were not into these segments. Our normal decorative range has done equal to the market. In automotive, we have been able to gain market share, and I think we will continue to focus on technology and service to improve the market share. However, topmost focus in the current year is to get the price increase so that we are able to maintain the profitability. On powder coating, we have been able to actually expand into a few new areas like rebar coating and pipe coating. And even on ARF, our focus will be on improving the market share. Some of the strategic initiatives on decorative, as I mentioned, will be on differentiated product, some new distribution model, focus on soldier, and focus segment like construction and adhesive chemical. We will continue to focus on digital because we believe that is most important going forward, and there is a strategy which has been drawn up with new digital council headed by Jason. We also work closely with our group companies, including parent company, to get the new technology. So it is not only Kansai Japan, but Kansai group companies like Kansai Africa or Kansai Europe or Kansai Turkey for us to get the technology. This also helps us in having a global procurement and also trying to get the approval from the European auto companies. We will also continue to focus on improving the profitability when we are aware that raw material prices are high. So we still need to ensure that we focus on internal improvement, whether it is a cost reduction or product mix or raw material prices or productivity or asset sweating. So I think this focus will continue what was there in the current year as well. On top of that, we are also putting a lot of attention on the talent development. We have just taken a senior vice president, Rohit Malkani, who was with Crompton and Asian Paint earlier, who has joined here as a senior vice president who will be in charge of decorative divisions. We have also reorganized our entire setup with focus area as a business, heads with profitability in charge. Given this background, what we are also doing is we are focusing on our R&D digital factory. Our Amritsar is a total digital factory. Continue to focus on the brand and also digital focus, which I mentioned, which you can look through my presentation. Last but not least, our focus is mainly also on ESG. And you would be happy to note that Nerolac is in the top 50 corporate selected by the NSE, and we have been also invited by MSCI, S&P and FTSE to participate. And our aim is to ensure that Nerolac is in the top quartile of the ESG index. And we are very confident with whatever initiatives which we have taken that our ESG score will be far better than anyone else. With this background, I would like to invite question and answer from you, and my team will also join in addressing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Percy Panthaki from IIFL. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Good morning. And my first question is on how's the sort of sales traction given the second wave. And I ask this in the context that unlike the first wave, where the constraint was mainly put by the government and therefore there was a supply constraint, this time government has not said that you cannot do construction and painting and anything like that. So there are no restrictions from the government side, but there would be a demand impact. So just wanted to get some color in terms of how have the last 30 days been versus, let's say, a benchmark of Jan to March quarter. If we take Jan to March as 100, then the sales has fallen to what level, 60, 70, 80 in the last 30 days?
I think you're right. Though there is no supply constraint, but there is a full demand constraint, I would say, with total lockdown virtually in every state. Almost 70% of our depots are closed now, and even if you look at OEM, most of the OEMs have announced the shutdown now. So virtually, supplies have stopped. So while, you can say technically production is on, the units are on, but there are no orders to produce. And we also find it difficult even to move the material. To that extent, I think logistics is affected. First, few days, that is first 3 weeks of April were very good, and I think we were, very hopeful that, this year will be very good, the way we started. I think, post-April, we gradually, the sales started going down, and virtually now it's a full break, I would say. Difficult for me to say that how this quarter vis-a-vis the previous quarter or the corresponding quarter, because we do not know how long the situation is going to last, because the lockdowns are continuously being extended. Even though labors have not moved very much, compared to what it was last year in the first quarter. However, we still find that dealers are closed. Projects though are running, but still they have a labor problem, and they becomes very difficult to make those supply. And we are not very strong on project, to be very frank with you. To that extent, I think we are affected. We only hope that this situation improves faster and we are back to the normal.
And repainting demand in decorative has also fallen very sharply, is it? Or is it like a moderation rather than a very sharp fall?
I mean, you need to look from the, I would say medium to short-term perspective rather than looking at, this month or these few weeks. Last year, I don't think any one of us were expecting that paint is going to have a, positive growth given what happened in the first quarter. Despite that, I think, all of us did very well. Given now, at present, obviously, as I said, shops are closed, so, there are no one is inviting painter to their house. So obviously it is affected, but it is not zero, let us put it this way. But difficult to say how much it is going to get affected when we end the quarter. So right now, let us take with the pinch of salt that it is affected, and it will improve gradually but faster.
Got you. So second question is on the gross margins. Obviously, there is an input cost pressure, and price increases have not fully caught up to that. So just wanted to understand from your point of view, do you see the gross margin pressure currently more on the decorative side or more on the auto and industrial side?
The raw material prices have gone up, sharply, starting, I would say, last quarter of the previous year. And even in April, it has not, gone down. In fact, it has gone up slightly. So raw material prices are at the peak as of now. And we increased in the last week of March, price increase, we took in decorative, and also in industrial, we have been approaching our customers for price increase. So certainly the price increase has to take place if you have to protect our margin. However, unfortunately, with this lockdown, what do you do? How do you take price increase? How do you talk to customer? Right? So basically you are waiting for market to get open and perhaps then take a call on price increase. But price increase is inevitable if you have to protect the margin. We do have some inventory or the order booking of earlier, but despite all that, price increase has to be steeper.
Right, sir. But when you talk about protecting the margins, also we are coming from a context where FY21 margins are much higher than the trend. So would you like to protect the margins at FY21 level, or would you look at a longer term sort of historic average and say that is where you would like to keep the margins at?
I think for any management, obviously they would like not only to protect but improve the bottom line. But fact of the matter is we also need to be conscious of the environment in which we are operating. So we need to understand customers' perspective. We need to understand what is going on in the mind of consumer right now when the incomes are falling. Do you try and support the customers, or do you try and support the margin? So I think this is a very difficult call. We would wait for situation to improve and then decide how to do it. But as I mentioned, there is no choice but to increase the price to protect the margin. So that will certainly take place. But how fast, how quick, how much it would be, that depends upon how fast demand is reviving.
Right, sir. And last question, if I may squeeze in, among the top 4 or 5 big players, if I take only that as the universe and ignore the small and unorganized guys, how would you say your growth has been versus the industry?
As I mentioned,
in decoratives.
Okay, fair enough. So I mentioned, other than decorative, we increase the market share. In decorative, we have not been able to increase market share. If you look at our growth, looks lower compared to what is in the, some of the competitor, mainly because there are products like I mentioned, construction chemical and adhesive, which we actually just introduced. Though, 1 year back we started, but we could not introduce the range. Only in the last quarter we were able to complete the entire range, and we need to now ensure that we are able to cover the distribution. So if we ignore that, our market growth is equal to the market growth of industry. However, if we take that in consideration, certainly we are lower.
Right, sir. That's all from me. Thanks and all the best.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Aditya Bhartia from Investec. Please go ahead.
Hi, good morning, sir. Thanks for the detailed presentation. So raw material prices have gone up so sharply, but despite that, we have seen that companies have waited for a while before passing on the increased cost. You did it in last week of March. Some of your competitors are doing it now, or had announced it to happen from first week of May. Has this time been any different from what we have seen in the past? Also, what we generally get to see is that all companies announce price hikes in tandem, maybe within a gap of 1 week. This time around, it's been a lot more dispersed. So how do you explain that, sir?
So number one, I think, yes, this time it has been different compared to what was earlier. Earlier, whenever the cost used to go up, I think immediately the industry used to increase the prices to protect the margin. This time, as I mentioned earlier, that right now the demand is totally, disturbed. So if you announce the price increase, it is not even going to help, because first you need to get your sales in place before you, start talking about the margin, number one. Number two, I don't think it's a right statement that, everyone in the industry has been announcing the price in tandem. I mean, if you look at Nerolac, it is our history that we don't follow the trend of industry. We look at our strategy and our cost, and based on that we take price increase. There are various occasions where we have reduced the prices before the decision is taken by the industry, or we have increased the prices before they have decided. Similarly, here we felt that we need to take a call, and we took that call without waiting for the industry to decide. So we are decoupled from what the industry is doing. I mean, we take our own decision. Maybe it is right, maybe it is wrong, all right? But what we feel is right, based on that we take our call.
Sure, sir. On the first point that you made, sir, that because environment is not conducive, but commodity costs have actually been going up for the last couple of months, and you took the price hike in maybe towards the end of March, when environment was still fairly buoyant. So why did this time around we had to wait for almost 3 months before passing on the commodity cost increase and not earlier?
No, as I mentioned, I think you also take into consideration the inventory which is there. So to be very frank with you, I don't think margin got affected in decorative by not increasing the price earlier than what we did it, right? So I think as far as we are concerned, we were not affected in the last quarter in decorative in terms of margin, and that is why the price increase was not done. But when we felt it is getting affected, that point in time call was taken. However, in case of industrial, it's a long drawn process. We have taken good price increase in powder coating. For example, if you look at last quarter, we have increased prices by almost 8%, even in the previous quarter in powder coating. In refinish, we increased prices by 5%. In performance coating and general industrial, we increased price by 3%. Right, so it is not that we have not increased prices for other than decorative. We increased, in fact, starting I would say from January itself for various segments. Auto, when it comes to OEM, I think it's a contract base which we need to discuss and then take a call. So auto always takes a lot of time. However, other than auto, we have taken the price increases.
Understood, sir. And the bulk of gross margin erosion that we have seen in this quarter, would that be attributable to auto business in that context?
You are perfectly right. It is more to do with the mix of deco and auto. Normally, that is why, when it comes to Nerolac, you can't compare all 4 quarters. We need to look from a year perspective, because, in some quarter, decorative will be high and some quarter, industrial business will be high. So mix keeps changing, which affects the margin rather than drop in the margin.
Sure, sir. And so my last question, if we compare it with the first wave, which appeared to be centered a lot more around metro cities and tier 1 towns, this time around it appears that it's a lot more spread out. In that context, sitting today, do you think that the impact on the paint sector or on the repainting demand may linger on for much longer than what we saw the first time around?
I think so. That is my personal belief, because we are seeing a lot of people getting affected. Even in my staff, in the first wave, hardly 2% of the people got affected, but in the second wave, 8% of the people have got affected. So this clearly indicates that it is spread across, and we had also few fatalities, unfortunately. So certainly this clearly indicates, and also looking at the positivity rate which is being reported across various districts, I think this is going to have a impact much more than the impact which was there in the first wave. Number one. Number two, perhaps this will be a longer compared to the first wave, because here perhaps this would have been better to impose a national lockdown of 15 days or 1 month rather than having a partial lockdown or leaving it to the state, because that never helps, because the uncertainty continues and the bad news which we see on the media is drops the sentiment of the people. So you are right, this could be a longer wave.
Sure, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks for these candid answers.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Amnish Agarwal from PL India. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir. Congrats on good set of numbers. I have a couple of questions. My first question is that as far as demand is concerned, like you said, it is going to take much longer this time around for the demand to come back. But what sort of a sense are you building? Because Kansai, I think, depends more also on the tier 2, tier 3 cities. So do you think that 1Q this year will be closer to where we were, say, in 1Q of FY20, or still you can say it's too early for you to say? Depends on, say, based on 1 year, 1 month of numbers which you might be having.
So very difficult actually to comment looking at the very uncertain environment right now. But to be very frank with you, we started the year on a very positive note, and we have actually built up a very positive case for a growth. And normally April is a big month. So first 20 days of April was very good, as I mentioned. So maybe that will cover the shortfall perhaps which is going to come going forward. So difficult to say, as I said, how long this is going to last. May and June is not that big month compared to the April. So to that extent, we would say that since 3 weeks of April were on, I think that would have certainly covered the drop which we see in May and June. So let us wait. As I said, we are still hopeful and positive because looking at the whatever GDP growth which has been planned more than 10%, maybe marginally reduced now. If really we happen that, there is no reason why paint industry should not do better than that.
Okay. So my second question is on the raw material front. We have seen 410 bits hit in our gross margins. Although the pressure is there, but if I look at, say, last 5-6 years of data, the bottom in any quarter in gross margin has been roughly around 32%, and we are already at 34%. So can we assume that we have already bottomed more or less in terms of gross margins, or do you see a possibility of the gross margins even going down from here, even though you have taken small price increase towards the end of March?
I think I tried to answer this question. The margin all depends upon how the demand is, how the industry is behaving, and how our customers are doing, and what is the pressure of raw material prices. Also, what internal improvement and value engineering which we keep doing it. I mean, if you look at, Nerolac, don't look from, let us say, few quarters or, 1 or 2 years. Look at last 20 years performance, where we have been continuously improving the margin. Even though there are quarters where, there was a dip, there are years where there was a dip. But if you look on a 20-year cycle, I think, we have been making the improvement. So that is the way to look at it rather than looking at, what will happen in the quarter or this year. Difficult for me to comment. As I mentioned, the endeavor of management is to ensure that, we take care of all stakeholders, including our customers. So sometime when we don't do price increase or we settle for a less price increase, it is purely from a long-term perspective, looking at our customer, saying, look, right now customer is also in trouble and we need to help them. Even on the consumer front, I think it's our responsibility also, when the income levels of the consumers are going down, how can we ensure that, we help the consumer? So we also have some social responsibility apart from the financial responsibility towards the shareholder, I would say. So I would look at, all the angle and then, decide, look, what would be our strategy when it comes to margin. But certainly the endeavor is to ensure that we protect our margin, we improve our margin.
Yeah, so sure, very nice gesture from Kansai. So just a final question, that Kansai has always been strong in the mid to mid-premium segment in the decorative paints, and we have emphasized a lot on the soldier segment. And the market incidentally has done quite well when it comes to the economy and the low segments. So how far we have been able to crack this segment in the past couple of years, and are we gaining share in the particularly the economy and low segments in the market? And that's the final question, sir. Thank you.
So you're right. I think, we have been strong in the economy and the lower segment. However, last year, in the industry, a lot of new products were also introduced in this segment, where we were perhaps, I would say, slightly late. I must admit that. However, in this year, in the last 2 quarters, we have introduced a lot of new ranges in the economy and the premium segment, and which is what I am talking in my presentation about the differentiated product. So perhaps we are offering, at value for money, much lower prices, and perhaps equal to what, competition is offering on the premium category. So we hope that is going to give us, the help, and we should be able to improve on our top line with that.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Shirish Pardeshi from Centrum Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Dharuka and team, and thanks for the opportunity. I have 3 questions. You mentioned that the urban counterpart is very cautious about getting painter in the house. Could you talk something about the rural part? Because most of the companies so far, you have said rural is to a certain extent is less affected. In your experience, how things are happening in rural part, if you can help me to understand.
Yeah, as I mentioned, I think you need to look in the context of the scenario which we are in. I mean, rural, even urban came back, last year, and that is why entire year, despite, entire washout of April, which contributes a big to sales, if the industry was able to achieve the positive, growth, I think it clearly indicates that, rural as well as, urban came back very fast. However, right now, we are talking in a scenario where everything is virtually shut, and I don't expect whether it is rural or, urban, anyone calling as of now painter and doing the painting. I mean, it does not mean that it is a zero, but let's accept that, this is a scenario when you talk to anyone or any one of your family or friends have been affected, and there is a fear which is going on. In this scenario, who is, looking into all this painting as of now? So I think let us admit and accept that present scenario is not a good scenario to speak what will happen. Does that mean it is going to last forever? Certainly not. I think I am hopeful that this wave also will, vanish quickly, and we will come back to the economic activity, normal economic activity, and this industry will again bounce back. because this is my last 20 years experience that there are a lot of problems, but still we have been positive. I mean, for your information, we have completed 100 years. I mean, what a year to complete 100 years, but we have completed 100 years. And in 1920 also we were dealing with the pandemic. And now in 2020 also we are dealing with the pandemic. So there would be, year, quarter where you will have a problem. But I don't think, we as an investor or we as a shareholder should look what is going to happen in next month or next quarter. I mean, let us look from a longer term perspective. Nothing has changed.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, experience is there, and I respect your thoughts. But just I'm more curious, from the distribution, you mentioned that supply chain disruption and the dealer point, which are not there. So, in your assessment, what percentage of dealer shops are open, say now, and maybe which was open in the first week of April?
Virtually 90% are closed. So, in 70% of my depots are closed. Right, 30% depots are open, partially open between 8 and 11, wherever it is allowed. Right, but shops are also open for 2 hours, 3 hours. Some sale is taking place, and small orders are trickling in. Sometimes it becomes very difficult to service those orders. How do you supply small order in remote location? So, I mean, these are the supply challenges which I mentioned is coming in. So, even if business is there, are you in a position to supply? Do you want to supply? What would be the cost of supply? So I think these are the issues which we are, grappling with right now. But despite that, as I said, if there are orders, if you have to service, even at the cost, I think we are servicing wherever it is possible.
Okay. And my last question, in your thought, what is the current inflation you are facing separately on decorative and industrial, and how much price offset you have taken so far?
See, if you look at the current inflation, if I look at April, it is almost close to about 13 to 14%, and we have taken about 2.5% price increase, which takes care of, let us say, 5% of inflation. So we still need to do decorative. Industrial increase is slightly higher, and almost 3 to 4% price increase we all taken so far, and I think further price increases are on the card, and we expect that I don't know whether we will be able to compensate fully, because what is happening is when I'm approaching my customer for a price increase, after a week I find my cost has gone up further. So you can't approach your OEM every week saying, look, I need to get a price increase. So that's our dilemma right now. We hope, as I mentioned, that these prices are peaked, and they will also come down, because I don't think it is going to last, even though there are economies like US and China is doing very well. But look at commodity prices. Are they going to last? I really don't know. I have my doubts, because demand is not that great that commodity prices which have risen by 40% or 60%, for them to last. So let us wait. According to me, they will come down. There are a lot of force measures also which are working right now. Once they are also lifted, maybe there would be ease on supply and prices will come down.
Thank you, Mr. Baruka, and I pray God that we come out of this challenging situation very quickly and stay safe and healthy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Avnish Roy from Edelweiss. Please go ahead.
Sir, thanks for the opportunity. My first question is on the technological tie-up which you mentioned. You said that not just from the parent, you also are getting from other country units, Turkey, etc. So now paints has seen a lot of innovation last decade anyway. So was this a general statement on your capability, or was there any real technological input on the product innovation side or on the distribution side from any of these countries, which are much smaller than India, at least from a country demand perspective?
So if you look at our auto refinish paint, we have a technology from Kansai at the top end of the product, whereas the Kansai technology was not working for a mid range because that is not suitable here. So we got the technology from Turkey, Altan, and which is a Cardia technology, which we just introduced about 3 months back in the market. And within 3 months, we have installed about 200 machines in the market. So that's one technology which I am referring. Second is, when I talked about, Helios from Europe, then we are able to get technology on the, railways and the high technology on the power sector. So there are specific, product related technology which we are able to get them because, Helios is very strong on the performance coating, and they are leader in the railway segment in Europe, and they have a far better product. And also because there are a lot of European companies in India. Earlier, perhaps when we used to refer it to Kansai, people used to think only of Japanese. But now since we can get a European technology, it will help in tying up with the European customers in India for us. So that is what I meant.
Sure. That's helpful. My second question is on construction chemicals and adhesives. Some of the other paint companies already have a decent presence there. So you have also entered there. So my question is, are you not a bit late, and what would you do to overcome that? Are you going to focus on all your current markets in India? And there is also presence of Pidilite and the market leader in paint. So will you become real relevant player in these two segments?
So you're right. We were late. To be very frank with you, I don't think initially we thought that we would like to enter into this sector because there are already giants which are sitting here, and maybe it would be difficult for us to compete. However, if you look at the products which have been introduced by the market are different product than what is available today by, let us say, leading competitor today. And to that extent, we have replaced, industry has replaced. When we say we, industry has, actually got some different products which is, giving you extra market share because, you are able to coat, let us say, surface of exterior with a waterproof coating and then the paint coating to prevent the, water seeping into the building. So this segment is a totally new segment. And as I mentioned, this has opened up the opportunity for the paint dealers and the paint industry. And we were late and we never thought of this. And that is why it took time for us to introduce. So yes, now we have entire range available. So certainly we will look into the entire distribution and how do we get the market. Even though we are late, it will take some time for us, but we will catch up, number one. Number two, coming on the top end of waterproofing or the construction chemical, where other market leaders are there. Yes, it will be difficult to compete with them because it is more project-based business. But that is where we acquired, Perma Construction, which is into those segments. The products are equally good what is available in the market. However, you need to build your brand strategy and the distribution strategy, which will take time. So what we have done is both on construction chemical and adhesive, as I mentioned in my presentation, that we have reorganized everything and we have created a business focus. So there is a separate team which is working rather than, burdening with the existing paint team. So it will have some impact on the cost, but at the same time, if we have to grow, I think we need to have a separate team with separate mindset and separate focus, which is what we are trying to do to ensure that we catch up with what we lost in last 2 years. Though we may not be able to perhaps, right now compete with the, leaders, and we will be a irrelevant player to that extent. But I think aim when we enter is to ensure that we at least gain reasonably good market share from an international standard rather than from an Indian standard where you are looking at 40% or 50% market share.
Sure. And the last quick question. So Grasim had announced entry a few months back, so now more time has gone. So you are the number 3 player in Deco. So what would be your response? Do you see any meaningful change in your strategy? Do you see a big risk on your growth numbers? See, market share, I think every player will see some risk. But in terms of growth, do you see the industry getting expanded because of that large corporate entry?
Look, very difficult to say, but, let us accept that, as far as we are concerned, we take all competitions, seriously, whether a big competitor or, a small competition. Also, fact of the matter is, in the past, a lot of companies have, entered this market, and many of them have not done well, or they reach a particular size, and after that, perhaps they are not able to grow. Number three, we know the penetration level in India is still very low, and there is enough player for, enough opportunities for new players to enter the market. And I have been always of the opinion that more the players, more the noise, and market will grow faster. So I hope that, market is able to grow and it does not affect, the existing player. But it is possible it may affect. I mean, it's only time will tell, and every company will try and protect the, market share. So let's wait and watch right now. Too early to make any comment. But I welcome all the competition. I don't think, I won't say we are not worried. I would say definitely we need to take that in consideration in our strategy. And as and when we see an impact, we will decide what actions are required to be taken, we will take.
That's very helpful, sir. Thanks a lot for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you. The next question is from the line of Avin Mehta from Macquarie. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. First, I just wanted to get a bit clarity on the near term, especially on margins. So we have, from a gross margin point of view, would it be fair to expect contraction in first quarter, given that low-cost inventory is no longer present, and then a subsequent improvement? And so if you could, and then I was going to ask the follow-up.
So it's possible, as I said, cost increases are, tremendous. So it is possible. But more important for us is to look at the, sale first, rather than looking at the margin. So if, if sales are there, then I think we will be able to take care of margin. But if there are no sales, it has a lot of other implication, like, the overheads, which also affects it. So which will, obviously bring down the margin. So I think let's first wait and see that how fast we are able to get back to the normal sale. I mean, fortunately for everyone, last year first quarter was bad, right? So I don't expect that this year, this quarter would be as bad as first quarter of last year.
Fair enough, sir. So just the second bit, FY21 essentially shows how, you have been able to use cost control measures quite effectively despite the sales weakness. Now, would it be fair to say that the ability to do something similar exists, or is it lower now given the cost inflation and there is lesser room now? How should I look at that part, sir?
Who will keep me? I say if there is no opportunity, right? Then I am not required. So I mean, I would always say there is always an opportunity. Nothing is impossible. I mean, every year we have been able to reduce the cost not only for us but also even for our customers. And we look for a new technology. That is what is our actually a strength. Our overheads are lower than the competition for last almost 15 years, and we have been able to retain our market share in auto mainly because we have been able to carry out a lot of cost reduction activity for our customer. So I think that is our forte, and we hope that we are able to do it. I will never say it is not possible. There is always a scope. But it's possible you may not be able to achieve in 1 quarter or 1 year or 2 years. But I am very confident that yes, there is a scope and we will do it.
So where I was coming from, is there a target that you have in mind, or you don't kind of keep some annual targets? Anything of that sort do you have in mind, or no, we don't? That's what I was trying to.
No, so it looks difficult for me to make any statement as far as target is concerned. I think you should read from the perspective that endeavor of management is to protect the margin, right, or improve the margin. So depending on that, call will be taken. What do we do? Suppose there are no sale, what target I give is going to have a result, because nothing can be done. I have to still pay salaries. I have to still pay power bills, right? Unless government says we are going to waive off your power bills, which they did in the last year. So here, so far nothing has been done because government is saying we are open. So you continue to work, operate. So they will charge the minimum power bill to me. I will have to make salary payment to them. So these costs, these factors are totally not in my control for me to make any statement.
Fair point, sir. Fair. So the second bit essentially is on, this presentation talks a lot about initiatives to improve digital quotient and essentially to improve agility. Could you share how do you kind of compare with respect to peers? Because we unfortunately have a limited kind of understanding of how should we rank you. Is this kind of taking us ahead than the top 2 or 3 players, maybe, than the second player, or is this, how do you rank this if you have an internal ranking, sir?
Jason, would you like to take this, question?
Yeah. So if I look at, last 20 years, I think we have not really looked at what others in the industry have done as far as IT or digital is concerned. So if you go back right to 2000, we brought out the ERP when nobody in the industry had an ERP system. And subsequently, every 2-3 years, we have been continuously investing in newer and newer technologies in IT, because we believe both these supply chains, whether it is the industrial supply chain or the decorative supply chain, or both the customer groups, require completely different solutions, and we have to be on top of it if we have to be competitive. Now, similarly, in the digital space, we entered very early in 2018 when we got into the SAP Leonardo platform for implementing machine learning. So I think when it comes to taking digital initiatives, we have our own roadmap. We have transparently shared it last year also in terms of what we want to do and how we want to do. Now, our comparison is how we would do it so that it internally helps us, serve our markets and customers better.
Okay, sir. Okay. And sir, last question from my side. Sir, Mr. Baruka, so you've seen this company through multiple, years. You've seen this kind of grow. But one thing that I noticed is this board meeting did not have any mention of the reappointment, sir. I wanted to kind of get your thoughts on that, and if any kind of comments on that part. That's all from my side.
So would you want me to go or continue?
I want you to continue, sir. I just don't know.
So it is not in my hand, my dear. I mean, I have still 1 year to go. So it is for, board to take a call. Should I continue or not continue? But I think forget. That is not important. For me, as a leader, what is important? Do I have a second line ready to take over? And I can tell you, guarantee, we have a good second line, not one person, but many people who can take over. I mean, the 3 people who are there with me, and they have been in the company for, years, and they have a very strong background. They are all trained in all the functions. In fact, they do the job. I don't do it. I do only talking. So if credit goes for whatever improvement, it is to them. So even if I am not there and if they take the charge, I tell you the company is going to perhaps do better than what it has been doing so far. So don't worry about from that perspective.
Okay, sir. That's all from my side. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Varun from IDBI Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. So just wanted to understand, now that we see a new and very aggressive competition from, many new players, for example, Indigo Paint, and even from Grasim. So, I mean, broadly we see, a lot of aggressive investment and value innovation being done through the existing way, the way we always operated the business. So, for example, printing machine, there has been a lot of new innovation which is being done, wherein now you don't need a separate computer to operate the machine, etc. So, just wanted to understand, your view that how do you see, especially if you can talk about competition from Indigo Paint in decorative coatings in the regions where Indigo Paint has become very, very strong. And secondly, how are we addressing this value innovation being created by the new aggressive players who are coming into the system and trying to create a business out of them by improving service quality to dealers?
So I would not like to comment on the specific, competition, what they are doing. Every competition has their own strategy, right? And we have our own strategy, and we do take in consideration what, each competitor is doing. And as far as, players are becoming aggressive or they're doing well, I think, every player has been aggressive every year. I mean, it is not only this year, and there are not a lot of new players who, got entered into India, even from abroad or, players in India, right, they have entered. So those, I think, player will come, player will go, some will, not survive, some will perhaps survive. So as I said, there is enough opportunity for everyone to come and grow, do well. And initially, I think growth for them would be better, because when you reach a particular size, then only the issue starts. And as far as innovations are concerned, I don't think any of the industry player is not aware of what is happening and what needs to be done. And sometimes it is not necessarily innovation. It is, how you communicate is the innovation. So I think let us wait and watch on this. Have a confidence in the company that whatever is required, company will do, will not allow, any advantage to go away. If we have to compete, somebody is doing the valuation, and if we feel we need to copy, we will copy. If we have to do better than them, we will try and do better than them. So we are conscious of that, and I think we will ensure.
Sure, that's very helpful. Just wanted to understand, is there any disruptive change in the way, on the tinting machine side?
Nothing. No change so far.
Right. Sure, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Tejas Shah from Spark Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi. Thanks for the opportunity. So first question is, as you spoke on April demand, and since this wave has not been consistent across the nation, was there any geographical divergence in terms of demand recovery or demand trends in April?
No, April across, I think every geography did well.
Okay. And so in between these two waves, we had a very robust recovery in real estate market. So was there any reflection of the same in terms of fresh painting demand or in terms of new houses or metro centers demand, which you can call out?
So exterior painting or the project painting which were stalled, I think that definitely picked up. So project business was definitely better in last 6 months, compared to the 6 months.
Okay. And so you said you don't participate aggressively in that. Any reason? Are the margins not lucrative or?
No, I think, it's, question of, there are various markets. I mean, if I had resources, perhaps I would have introduced everywhere and I would have put separate team everywhere. So we need to look at, of course, margins are not, very impressive there. And we supply same product what we supply to the retail compared to some of the other, perhaps some of the companies who supply a different product to the project. So we don't differentiate in our brand. So we supply same product to the exterior. And the margins are very compressed, and you need a separate team over there where the productivity is very low, profitability is very low. That was the reason they were not focusing. It does not mean that we don't do project business. So we segregate wherever we feel it is profitable for us to do. We concentrate there. Rest of the business will do it.
Fair enough. Sir, any number you can share on dealer footprint count as on March last year, and any plan of expansion this year?
So last year, to be very frank with you, distribution had not increased purely because, it was very difficult for team to go out and open the dealers. And even dealers were not interested in, perhaps, opening and working with the competition, because it is not possible for even network to, have 3 or 4, companies supplying them. So our, instruction to our team was to have a safety as a priority and go as much less to the market as possible and get the order from the phone rather than, going and expanding the market. So for me, safety of my employee was priority, to be very frank with you, rather than looking at the business. So my expansion has not taken place in last year. Maybe small number would have gone up, but let us take it flat growth in the distribution.
Sure. So, sir, hypothetically and hopefully, if second half we are out of this crisis, so does the way we see pent up in demand from consumer side, does it happen in dealer expansion also, that you have a backlog of 15 months, 16 months, and you expand very rapidly in 6 months period, or that doesn't work that way?
No, it doesn't work that way. I mean, as I said, as far as we are concerned, maybe there is a network of another 20,000 available for us to, take. But then we have to look at productivity. That 20,000 will not come, the productivity would be very low, extraction will not be there. So, my cost would be very high. So we have to balance between the, distribution as well as, my profit margin. So that is how we look at it, to be very frank with you.
Yeah. Also, you made an interesting comment on the previous question's answer that all this competition which come, they reach certain size and then they plateau. So usually what is the size after which they start facing challenge in your experience?
I won't comment on that. It depends on each, player. To be very frank with you, you know very well what has happened. And it all depends upon how deep pockets you have, for you to survive. I mean, look at some of those players, how much profit they are making after how many years they have made a profit. And some of the players who are going to invest heavily, what would be their ROI and ROC? I mean, if, as an investor, if you are tracking, would you, track those company and will you give them, those, benefits? I mean, but market is irrational sometimes. Existing players sometimes is not, favored, and the new players are favored, right, in the market. All the new IPOs are coming. Perhaps I have a higher PEB compared to the existing players. It doesn't explain me the logic, so only you can explain to me.
So we are
difficult for me to make
So we are equally short of logic there.
You are 40. You are 40. I should be asking you this question.
So we are equally short of logic there. So just last one, if I may squeeze in. So you spoke about market share gain in industrial segment. So is it wallet share gain with the existing client, or we added new clients in OEM segment?
So it is the existing client also and new clients also. So I mean, because we are either 100% supplier or lead supplier to many of the clients. So some new clients have also come, and the existing client also we have been able to increase market share.
Thanks a lot, sir. This was very helpful, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Prachi Kodikar from B Capital. Please go ahead.
Good morning, sir. Thank you very much for the opportunity to ask a question. Sir, in the presentation you mentioned, one of the levers of improving your profitability would be a change in your business mix or product mix. So over a longer period of time, say 3 or 5 years, is there a particular business mix that you are targeting internally that you would like to reach? And even in terms of product mix, which particular category or product do you think would be the key levers for driving this profitability? If you could just talk a little bit about that.
Anuj, would you like to answer that?
Yes. So, when we spoke about the business mix, as you said that we just entered with the range of construction chemical, where we have introduced the complete range of products. And if you see the market size of construction chemical, and if you relate it with the overall paint size, it's about 10 to 12% construction chemical. So we started, but over a period of time, and today the construction chemical is a established range of product with the paint dealers. So I think this is one category which will move up over a period of 5 years. And also, if we look at some of the other new categories, and when we talk about the product mix, there are some new products which we introduced, which are very differentiated products. Recently, we have done that. One is like Beauty Gold washable, which is antibacterial and also the excellent product in terms of washability. The other product is Suraksha Dust Resistance. Now, these products are very differentiated in the sense that they are offering a far premium benefit at a popular prices. And this is something unique differentiation which is currently not available in the marketplace. So we believe that, some of these differentiations we have made and some of the new categories what we have introduced now, and as Mr. Baruka was mentioning that dedicated team for most of the new initiatives what we have put in the marketplace, these mix will improve going forward.
Okay. But any number that you have in mind, over a 3 or 5 year period as to...
So we have in mind, but we would not like to speak about the numbers, but these are some of the initiatives, and obviously as we expand this range, the contribution of salience of these mix will go up.
Okay. So you talk about construction chemicals. So is it fair to assume that the construction chemical business is, more profitable or, in terms of profitability, slightly better than your existing business that you have, the existing categories?
So, construction chemical is almost 7,000 crore industry in India. And there are two parts. One is admixture, which is mostly through the cement. And the another 3,500 crore is, from the kind of paint dealer. and there's a lot of range. So I think the product what we have introduced, if not better, at least they would be equal, if you compare with the paints in terms of margins.
Okay. Got it. All right. Those are the questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Aniruddha Joshi from ICICI Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Sir, last time when the COVID first wave happened, so we had peaked at around 98,000 cases, and when the cases dropped to below maybe 10,000 or 12,000, then the economy was completely rebound, and means the consumption literally restarted. Now the number right now is 4 lakh new cases. So if 4 lakh has to go to 10 or 12,000 or maybe 15,000, so still it may take a lot of time. So considering that the wave may remain longer, or even if we peak, let's say in in May, is still going down to below 20,000 cases per day, will take some time. So the business is likely to, what are the steps that we can take so that the damage is minimal, and what are the major cost saving initiatives that the company may work this time? I agree last year also, you had done multiple cost saving initiatives. So what are the additional cost saving initiatives that the company is working on? That is point one. Point number two is the unorganized sector has been continuously getting impacted, demonetization, then GST, then COVID wave 1, and now COVID wave 2. So significant impact might be there. So there will be opportunities to gain good amount of market share, at least in decorative paints. So what are the plans the company is looking at to gain additional market share also? Yeah, that's it. 2 questions from my side.
So, I'm not sure, whether this analogy, really works, that, last time when the cases came down to 7,000-8,000, market economy got opened and the demand came back. I mean, last time even, when the cases were virtually 8,000, we started the lockdown, right? Today, even after 4 lakh cases, the central government has not announced the lockdown, and state governments are also announcing the partial lockdown, and they are allowing factories to remain open. So I think, it's a case by case, difficult for me to make comment that, when the economy will get open. It is more than the government, what is in the mind, of the consumer. If the fear is, much higher than the fear which was there earlier, number one. Number two, why we need to, impose the lockdown. Even when the cases were 3 lakhs, I think, or the lockdowns were not imposed, people were freely moving around. So lockdown did not affect them, or the cases did not affect them, right? So I think it's a mindset, of the people and the government concerned, what they would like, us to do. Difficult for me to make, comment as a business person, what will happen. And so looking at this, I really don't know whether it will be picked out in May or June, or, it will go beyond even 2 months. As far as internals are concerned, yes, certainly, as I said, we will ensure whatever cost reduction which is possible, but there are limits, when you have no sale. But for example, we will close down the factories, right? We will try and reduce the utility cost, right? If suppose it is going to get prolonged, because there won't be any demand. However, wages we will have to pay. So overall overheads will go up. The advertisement we may reduce if there are no sales, right? So I think these are the only measures which we can take. Beyond this, what you can do? I mean, raw material prices are not in your control. Maybe let us hope that since demand goes down, ultimately raw material prices will also go down. So this will perhaps, take care of your margin. So I mean, it's all economics logic, to be very sensitive what is going to happen.
Okay, sir. Last time, I guess there was a little bit postponement of some of the capex. So is there any such thought process with the company, or we will go ahead with the mentioned capex as per the presentation?
No, so existing capex will continue, because this capex is more, for a cost saving. It's a vertical integration for, producing the resins and the intermediate. So this capex will continue because it will help us in reducing the cost.
Okay, sure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. I would now like to hand the conference over to Mr. Manoj Menon. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Hi. On behalf of ISEC, we truly want to thank Mr. Baruka, Anuj, Prashant, and Jason for taking time out, for an 80-minute call almost. And most importantly, thank you for patiently responding to, all the, questions from analysts and investors. Thank you, sir, and thanks everyone, and have a good day. Over to management for the final closing comments, if any.
Also, thank you very much for all the participants. I know it has been very tough environment right now, but I think you must be happy that at least market is doing well. The financial market is doing well, even if the industries are not doing well. But we hope that soon industry is also able to catch up with the financial market. But most important is safety. So please remain safe with your family. And thank you very much for attending KNPL call. And please keep joining us and keep also educating us. Thank you.